Alright, hi everybody, welcome to the next lesson in Arduino. Today we're going to be looking at how to code an LED to turn on with a button. Now it's going to be based a little bit off of the first code we wrote, which was just turning on an LED to blink on and off at different intervals. This time we're going to be adding a physical piece of hardware, so make sure to check out that follow-up video to this that shows you how to connect the hardware itself. But let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as we remember before, this area up here is for writing any sort of information that we need. Let's just go ahead and we're gonna type in here push button LED. I did all caps, you can leave it blank. Remember, this is just your comment section. I'm gonna go to line 4 and add a few spaces in there just by hitting the enter button. So you can see I went from 4 to 7, and that's going to give me some room to start typing here. Now again, we're going to be using that constant integer, so C-O-N-S-T space I-N-T. So constant integer. We're going to title this LED equals 13 and a semicolon. Again, remember this integer here, we're just creating a representation for this number here, 13. So we're using this word here, LED, 13. And remember, you have to use consistency, so if you're using all caps for LED, in the rest of your program you have to use all caps, and vice versa if you use lowercase, or if you do lowercase l, uppercase e, stuff like that. That'll mess you up if you don't have that set up. Next, we're going to do constant integer, so C-O-N-S-T-I-N-T. We're going to call this one button. We're going to make that equal to 7, and just like the LED, we're going to say our button pin is connected to pin 7. Finally, we need to set an integer that we're going to be able to change, and that's why it's important we understand the difference between constant integer and a regular integer. So we're going to do int. We're going to say integer val, which is going to represent value for us, is equal to 0. Or in this case, the literal translation is integer value is 0. Okay, we have that ready. Let's jump into the void setup. So in my case, I'm going to jump into line 10. Wherever you are, make sure you are typing in between those curly brackets, because that's what's going to allow this string to properly run. We're going to type in pin mode because we need to activate the Arduino, and we're going to, like last time, set up LED. We're going to put it as output, in parentheses, semicolon, and next line we're going to type in pin mode. And it's important that you put that M as a capital in pin mode. Start parentheses, button, and this is going to be an input for us. Oop. So again, this is going to send out a signal for our LED, and our pin mode is waiting to receive a signal. Make sure these are capitalized and they are matching your constant integers up here. Now that we have this set up, let's go into our void loop. In our void loop, we're going to be setting up value, or val is, and we're going to be using a phrase here called digital read. And this digital read is just looking to see if there's power or if there isn't power, or a signal or if there is no signal. So we have val is digital read, and we want it to be reading the button, right? Because that's our input device. So val digital read button, semicolon, enter. Next, we're going to write our first equation, basically. We're going to be writing an equation that's going to say that if it is reading a signal, it is going to change our value to 1. If it's not reading a signal, it's going to change the value to 0. And that is how our Arduino is able to understand how to interface with the button and then control the LED as a consequence of that. So we're going to type if, start parentheses, val, so our value, and we're going to do 2 equal sign. Now in Arduino coding, or even C++ coding, a double equal sign actually means the word equals to. So we have if val is equal to high, in parentheses, and then we're going to add a start curly bracket. Now this start curly bracket is starting a new string within our loop itself. Hit enter so we can move it down a line, and then now we're going to write in our equation. Basically, we're giving it an if-then statement to see what's going on. So we have if value is equal to high, then digital write start parentheses, LED is going to be on or high, in parentheses, semicolon. Okay, then what we're going to do is click here, just making sure. Yeah, we're going to click here after this first curly bracket. We're going to type the word else. So I went line 18, clicked by the curly bracket, hit space, and typed else. And then we're going to do a new curly bracket, hit enter, else digital write is LED low. Okay, enter, and then we need to make sure our curly brackets line up, and we can easily do this by checking, by actually clicking right next to the curly bracket. So I'm on line 21, I click here at the end of this curly bracket, and it's showing me this curly bracket is matching with this curly bracket, keeping it all in the same string. Line 20, this curly bracket is with this curly bracket, and it's before the else. And again, let's just read through this program so we understand what's going on. Our constant integer of LED is 13, our constant integer button is 7, and our integer is val 0, meaning no power, right? 0, nothing's going on there. Because these are just numbers. These numbers then correlate here because we're saying to our Arduino, our pin mode, LED is then output, or 13 is an output, pin mode 7 input, or button input. Jump into the program, and we're going to create the equation. The val is equal to the digital read of button if val is equal high or on, then digital write LED on. If it's not on, then it's going to change that. Basically, we're saying if it's not on, then just write the LED to being off or low. If you have any questions about that, please make sure to leave a comment in this video. If you're watching directly on YouTube, if you're on Classroom, drop it there. Or if you're in class, raise your hand. That makes it a lot easier. All right, thanks for watching.